All right. So for those of you out there listening or watching, if it's on YouTube, I've been trying to get these two on for a little bit. And Maddie has been on before. She was on Young Guns, right? Yeah, that's what we call it. Young Guns or Young Blood? The future of women's arm wrestling. I think
Young
that's
Blood.
what it was. Young Blood. Yeah, we called it Young Blood. And we have our champion arm wrestling dad, Steve Walker. What's up, Steve? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I think it's great, and that's why I've been wanting to get you guys on, like a father-daughter arm wrestling team. I think it's fantastic.
Awesome.
So we got to talk about how that started. But Steve, why don't we talk about your arm wrestling career for a little bit? Tell me how you got into it and how far you went with it.
When I was 17 years old, I graduated high school. I heard about a tournament at Echelon Chevrolet, like a car dealership local by me. I went there just want to watch, check it out, and I met my coach, my lifelong friend, Mike Minonia. I watched the tournament. I talked to him. He said, we're going to start a New Jersey team arm wrestling. Thinking about doing, he lived about 45 minutes away from me at the time. He said, you only got to come twice a month for practice. And I just watched the tournament, fell in love with it. And twice a month, going to his house, wound up being twice a week.
Okay.
And he become, still to this day, he's actually Maddie's godfather. He's,
okay.
To this day, we're friends.
He's family.
He's family, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are Facebook friends. We should see on Christmas. We were at his house for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
And I fell in love with it. He took me to be a state champion within a year, national caliber within 2 years, and he took me to the world championships within 3 years. I did it probably about 12, 14 years. I got into prison. I went to the prison system. I worked in the prison system.
Oh, okay. You never know.
I went to the prison system, a lot of shift work, 2 to 10, midnight shift, that kind of stuff. And then a couple years later, I got married and had kids. And then in this sport, if you don't, especially as a super heavyweight, a natural super heavyweight, if you don't commit to 2 or 3 days a week working out, you're not going to be very competitive.
Right.
And, with my kids, being born, and, I wanted to be a dad involved with all that. And, I decided to retire from it. And actually my buddy Mike started getting a lot of injuries. So we kind of like retired together from it. And 3 years ago, I got back into it.
Oh, okay. It was only 3 years ago. Oh, all right.
3 years, January. Well, when I retired and my friend Mike Minonia retired from injuries, our really good friend Jim Bryant took over the team for Mike. Mm-hmm. And he did a phenomenal job for years and years. And, we all remained friends. And I lived 5 minutes away from him. So our kids just coincidentally went to school together. So for years, Steve, you got to get back. You got to get back. You got to come back. You got to come back. And after you beat me down for so many years, when Maddie went to college 3 years ago, I asked my wife, I said, do you mind if I get back into it? She goes, you kidding me, Steve? I loved it. It was a family, sport, great community. And I got back into it. Jim got me back into it.
And how far did you go? Did you win a world title?
Back then, I took 5th.
Okay.
In 91, I went to Israel. I took 5th place. I should have been 3rd, but I took 5th. And I won 2 national championships back early 90s. I took 2nd in AAA nationals. I won the WPA nationals 90-91. I won several state titles. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Maddie's already got one up on you then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Maddie's already, about to go into the Hall of Fame. How old are you when you already won a world title?
20.
Yeah, and you went just past
20.
July, right? This past July.
Mm-hmm.
This past July, you won, right? Your audio is going in and out a little bit, Maddie.
September, we were in Florida.
Yes.
Oh, it was in September. Okay. So getting back to arm wrestling. So now, Maddie, tell me how you got involved in arm wrestling. Obviously, your dad, but was it like from when you were little, or did he have to coach you, or you decided you wanted to do it? How did it work?
So I had no clue about it, like anything arm wrestling. He never talked about it growing up. Mm-hmm. Like he talked about it, but nothing in detail. Mm-hmm. And about when COVID started, my freshman year in college, we got sent back because of COVID and we got shut down. And I was, what am I going to do for 5-6 months? And he was like, why don't you start arm wrestling? And like, I was begging him and begging him and begging him to let me because he didn't want me to hurt my arm for softball. And I finally did it in first tournament, and I loved it. And I was like, wow, I'm going to keep doing this. So
Did you just dive into a tournament, or he coached you before?
Oh, yeah. My first match was Alexandria. So that was very exciting at the IFA World Qualifiers. So that was my first tournament. It wasn't like a local tournament. It was a World Qualifier.
So he threw you in the deep end. He threw you in with the Sharks.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you have any, did he coach you a little bit before that, or he just threw you in and said, let's see how you do?
Maybe for like 2 or 3 months. Like with the guys, they don't let the guys compete for like within like 7-8 months, depending how they are. But he just threw me right in. I was like, I'm the newest one here, but he was like, go for it. So.
Well, I mean, if you want to do it, I guess that's the only way to do it. Just dive right in, right? It's like, you kind of have to. That's how you get it. That's how you get used to it. You don't want to. I guess, it's not a rough sport, but there's rough people involved, if you will, and it's like you kind of have to show a little bit of moxie when you go into it. You can't just kind of dabble. It's like, if you want to do it, jump in, because that's the only way you're gonna have to get used to it. But now, Steve, what about you? So now, are you retired, or are you?
Oh no, I'm full board now.
Okay. And was that because of Maddie that she ignited, or you were doing it before her?
Well, I was doing it, like I said, 3 years, and she came back from college. She definitely ignited me. I mean, realistically, I'm 51 years old. God ain't gonna give me strength much longer. So I mean, I'm gonna do it as long as I can, and she just fuels the fire for me. You know what I mean? And,
so when you guys go into tournaments, do you enter tournaments together?
Everyone that she's home for, that she's not playing softball. Yes.
Were you in the Worlds as well?
Yes.
Oh, and how did you do in that?
I took third left-handed, which I don't do left-handed. Just you were there the day before, so I did it, and I won the 50 Masters right hand the next day.
Oh, so okay, then I apologize. So you did win a Worlds.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Then my apologies. So you did win a Masters Worlds, and that's fantastic that you guys have that bond and that sport that you could, because you could always come to that. There used to be an author, and I forget his name, and he was during the hippie early 1970 times, and he's kind of running with the hippie crowd, and his dad was more of the conservative 1950 era, and the one thing they had in common was baseball, and he said that even though politically we didn't meet eye to eye, or any kind of socially we didn't meet eye to eye, but we always had baseball to bond us and bring us together. So I feel like, especially with a dad and her daughter, I feel like if you guys have that connection and that bond, you'll never break apart. I don't know.
No doubt. I mean,
it
ain't even just the tournaments. Is when she's home. She's my number one training partner. I mean, our gym's in the basement, but she pushes me to the max, and and I do the same to her. Sometimes we don't feel like working out. Come on, Dad, let's go.
Yeah.
Don't come 2 days a week. We got a half dozen guys to come over here and lift, but those days just me and her.
No. Do you guys lift weights together as well, or it's just arm training?
I'll lift weights together as well.
Oh, so you have a full gym in your basement?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys are in Jersey, right?
Yep.
What part of Jersey are you in?
We're in a little town called Southampton. Everybody knows Medford. It's about 5 minutes from Medford, Southampton, New Jersey.
Because I'm in Jersey, but I'm in North Jersey. I'm in Bloomfield, 20 minutes from Newark.
Yep.
Where?
We got some of my training partners come from almost 2 hours away up in Pennsylvania come train.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. So, Maddie, what's the future now? I did notice that you arm wrestled Michelle.
Yes.
Michelle Dugan. Mm-hmm. And how did that go?
I was so nervous. So I don't pull left hand. I do it just to make a class. So she came over to me and she's like, hey, there's no one left hand. How about you pull left hand? I'll pull right hand. I was like, yeah, sure. No problem. And right's my more dominant hand. Mm-hmm. So I was excited, but I knew I had a couple more years to go that big into this. Mm-hmm. So the first match, she plowed right through left hand. She's amazing. And then right hand, she won. And then I was like, okay, let's just give it on my all. I was like, let's just go. So then I won the second match, and I was like starstruck. I've been watching her since I was little. So I was just like, wow, this is like insane. Like, holy crap. And then the last match, it was a good battle, but I haven't been practicing. So my technique wasn't the best, and I did foul out. So,
but you did beat her in one match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about probably one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And her and her husband are good friends of ours. I mean, phenomenal people.
Oh yeah, they really are great people.
Enough about them.
He's hilarious. He really is a funny dude. They're really good people. I did something similar with them too, like I'm doing with you right now. Now, what about you, Steve? What's the future for you? What do you think you're gonna do? Do you have tournaments lined up, or?
Well, speaking of Michelle and James, we got what they call Northeast Coalition going on. So we just got a list of tournaments. Anything James and Michelle's in, as long as I could drive because I don't fly, I'm there. End of January's had one at Tropicana, Atlantic City, about 45 minutes from me. We'll be at that. Maddie's going to go back to college, play softball. End of February, I'm going to go down to North Carolina, met some nice people down there. Justin Bateman has a tournament down there, good people. I'm going down there. March, the 98% will have one in Philly. Phenomenal people, friends of mine. I'll go to that.
I had them on too, actually. I might, if I have the time. A lot of times I work weekends. I might actually go down there and do some footage.
That's all.
Because Ryan is a great dude and he's hilarious.
Ryan's a great guy. Josh Vinicor, his partner, phenomenal guys.
Yeah, they really are. Phenomenal. Now, do you only pull Masters or you do the Open Masters?
I'll do Open too. I mean, depending. I mean, see, my problem is I'm 51, but my heart still says I'm 21. So, usually do the Masters first because sometimes I'll help out refereeing and I'll, depending who's there, I go through the Masters pretty easy. And then Maddie's like, come on, Dad, do the young guys. You know what I mean? I'll do it. I'll pay for it for like 2 weeks, but I'll be sore, but I'll do it. And then the summertime's coming around. That's what we're really looking forward to. I'm going to put on Facebook. The main thing is to get Maddie more competition. Wherever, like, just say Florida, one of the guys reached out to me there. They have a big tournament in Florida. We're going to drive down there for Maddie. And whatever guys are there, I'll just pull. It's really at this point about her. You know what I mean? I don't care what guys are there. I'll pull whoever. It doesn't matter to me, win or lose. But I'm trying to get her more of the experience because, like I said, I'm 51. I don't have much more in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But whoever's there, I'll pull.
Now, Maddie, what do you prefer more? Do you prefer the arm wrestling or softball?
Your coach is going to watch this.
That's a tough question. Now, a lot of people ask me that, and like the best way I can describe it is with softball, it's a team sport. With this, it's individual. So what you put in, you get out of it. And like I'll be engaged and I'll be hitting, and then like something could happen in my defense or like the team's defense and we lose. With arm wrestling, it's one-on-one. So like if you mess up, it's on you. It's not like on the team, it's on you. Right. And I like that aspect. And also like I'm a bigger girl, so like I've never been the fast speed girl. I've always been strong and powerful. So like this sport is like home for me. Like I do enjoy both of them right now.
Boy, I wonder where you get your strength from. It's good genetics. Now, after college, is that what you said, your mom? Now, after college, are you going to continue playing softball or?
I might do like women's league or like co-ed league, but I can see myself like arm wrestling, powerlifting.
Okay. Yeah. Cause that seems like, well, I don't really know, but usually, once college is over, then a lot of girls, maybe they go into coaching if I'm right. So on and so forth. They might, well, even guys, right? When they play baseball or whatever, they might join a men's league, but I feel like arm wrestling and especially powerlifting, if you get into powerlifting, that's more of like a sport you could do or a hobby you could do while you're working full time, after work, so on and so forth. And it's still fun and it's still competitive and athletic. And now, were you always an athlete or was this something that came later on?
No, I've been playing sports since I could walk. My parents put me in all these sports to keep me out of trouble.
Yeah,
that's why I retired from it because I was too busy coaching her and helping her.
There was a
Well,
time that I was on 5 softball teams at once, and we would go from practice
wow.
to game to practice. Like it was a lot. But
You know, I'm probably gonna, Steve. I'm gonna give you a compliment. You probably heard it before, but me and my wife, we don't have kids for whatever reasons. We don't have kids, but good dads don't get enough credit. They don't. You hear a lot about good moms, and when you hear about dads, you hear about deadbeat dads and the shitheads and so on and so forth. But the good dads don't get enough credit, and the proof is in the pudding. Your children and how they succeed is proof that you were fantastic parents. And when you see Maddie winning a world title and doing so good in college, and playing softball, and the person she's become, I mean, every person I speak to that is on arm wrestling and somewhat familiar with it on the East Coast or in the tri-state area that knows Maddie says she's a sweetheart and a doll. So it's a testament to you and your wife and how good a parent you are. Just tell me, if you can, how proud you are.
I'm extremely proud. I mean, like I said, that's why I retired from arm wrestling. I have another daughter, Devin, my oldest daughter, Devin, and Maddie. They both play softball. They both play sports, and it wasn't about me. I made that decision, not having a dad growing up, I made that decision that I wanted to be the best dad I could. And I worked in the prison system for 25 years. I think the prison system got locked down one time. I don't think I've ever missed a game. We went to different states. We transferred kids. I went from Virginia to New Jersey to watch one game, to watch Maddie play teams. And we drove to Colorado. We drove to Fort Lauderdale. I don't fly. We drive everywhere. And that's what being a parent's about. Just my opinion. Different strokes for different folks. But I'm proud. I'm proud of both my girls.
No, it is. And does your other daughter also arm wrestle?
We're trying to talk her into it, but
how old is she?
She's 22. She's graduated college. She's in the workforce now and and all that. She's getting into weightlifting a little bit, and we're trying to talk her into it. But
yeah. She's on it. It's not for everybody. I'll be honest with you. I went to one practice. I'm like, this ain't for me.
Arm wrestling is a sport, just my opinion, that if you play baseball, football, whatever sport you did as younger, you physically can't do that anymore. That's like, it's an athlete sport. It's a competitive sport. And that's, I think, arm wrestling. But like I tell people, like I have people that come over that want to try it. I said, listen, if you're a big power lifter and you're benching 500-600 pounds and you like benching 500-600 pounds, arm wrestling ain't for you. It's tendons and ligaments. It's strength. It's, you got to get rid of the little wrist straps, that you used to deadlift 400 pounds with. You got to get your hand and wrist stronger. And you're sore, like a lot of pain involved with it. If you're not willing to do that, and, like I said, it's not for everybody, but I enjoy it. And like I said, we got about a half a dozen guys come over to the house, once or twice a week, and I enjoy the fellowship working out with them. You know what I mean? And I don't care if you ever win a tournament. I like the working out aspect of it too.
Oh, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. The different types of workouts and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of, especially with the bigger dudes, there's a lot of powerlifters that cross over into arm wrestling. Larry Wheels, of course, is famous for it. There's Eric Spoto, Scott Mendelson, list goes on and on. Do you think that they just think it's like, oh, I could do this. I'm strong. It's easy. I could do this. Or do you think they just kind of like take it serious?
Absolutely. They think they can do it until they, go against a 200-pound guy that beat a 400-pound powerlifting guy. How do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, until you run into Mike Aiello, like Eric Spoto did.
Yeah, like Spoto did, exactly.
Yeah, that seemed to be a big. I've been trying to get Mike on for I had him on once. I'm trying to get him on since then, and he always has. There's always something like it. He hurt his back real bad, from what I understand, and he's going to like some kind of pain therapy, whatever, blah blah. But from what I understand, he was really the underdog. Did you, Maddie, we'll go to you on this one. Did you think he was going to win, or were you picking Eric Spoto?
Who? When? Worlds?
No. Vegas to beat that Spoto guy.
Oh, I had no clue what was going
on. He was back in college.
I knew when I'm in college, I'm in my world. Like I text him, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's new updates? So
I knew Mike was winning.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, because from what I understand, he was a big underdog. And that's what I wanted to get, because he didn't just win; he blew through him. Yeah, he wrecked him. And I feel like he's getting better and better. Am I accurate?
Absolutely. And let me tell you a little something about Mike Aiello. I met him, 3 years ago when I first came back into the sport. And last November, I think we had a tournament here in New Jersey for Kids for Cancer. And Tim Bresnan's son, Corey Bresnan, reached out to me and said, listen, I want to get a challenge match with Michaela. And I said, listen, this is Kids for Cancer. The refs are getting $50. You know, there's no money involved. We're donating everything to Philadelphia Children's Hospital. So I reached out to Mike and I said, Mike, this kid wants a shot at you, you know, but it's no money involved. He goes, Steve, good calls, good kids. I'll be there. And he drove all the way from New York and he beat Tim 5 times. 3
Really?
times in the match and 2 times in the tournament. And like I said, he drove a couple hours. He took pictures with one of my good friend Mike Minonia's granddaughter was there. They lost her kidney to cancer. He took pictures with that kid and smiled. We took pictures with everybody. And just a good person, a good guy. You know what I mean? I know he's going to hate me for saying that because he puts on that big macho out. You know, he's a good guy. Anybody that I could call the phone and he'd drive a couple hours down for charity for kids,
absolutely,
for kids, with no money involved, kudos to them. Michelle, James Reed, both of them came down, spent the weekend, helped me run the tournament for it. That's just good people. That's what I like about the sport the most is the fellowship and the friendships you build with the people.
I feel like arm wrestling attracts a better type of person. Like I've been, you know, bodybuilding and somewhat powerlifting, and especially bodybuilding. It's very, very selfish, very self-centered. There's not much camaraderie. You know, there's a bunch of bullshit like people like to say, but once the deeper you get into it, the darker the world gets, if you will. Powerlifting is not as bad. It's a little bit better. But then when you get to arm wrestling, I feel like the people are a hell of a lot. The camaraderie is a lot better. The people are a lot less selfish. Like, for example, just this podcast, the majority of the times I ask somebody to come on, I've never had a problem. They come on and they don't ask to be paid. But there have been times I've tried to interview, you know, bodybuilders and powerlifters, and there've been a few guys that said, well, okay, well, how much are you going to pay me? You know, and it was almost expected, if you will, you know, because it's a whole different thing. Like I was watching one clip where like Michael Todd was teaching this little kid how to arm wrestle. Not little kid, I would say high school, maybe a little how to arm wrestle. If you were to ask, like, you know, Phil Heath, who was former Mr. Olympia, to show me how to pose, you know, it would be more like, well, get your checkbook ready because nothing's for free. But I feel like in arm wrestling, the camaraderie and the friendship and the fellowship is tremendous amount more than most other hobbies in the power sports. Is that accurate? Is that the same?
1,000%. I'll give you a perfect example of it. You know, we talked about that first tournament Maddie went to a couple of years ago, that qualifier in Atlantic City. And a good friend of mine who, when we were younger, we used to battle, Dave Morocco from Maryland. I hadn't seen Dave in 20 years since I retired, and I seen him at that tournament. And don't get me wrong, we were on the table, we did what we had to do. But when I wasn't on the table, when he was going against somebody, I was right next to cheering for him. When I was going against somebody else, he was right there cheering. And Maddie goes, Dad, like, that just don't happen. Like I said, listen, we were friends years ago. We rekindled our friendship, and, you know, we talk all the time, and we travel to each other's houses and practice back and forth down to Maryland and here. But that's the camaraderie. Like I said, you do what you got to do for the 30 seconds on the table, but then you go have a drink or your friends afterward, and it's the friendships.
Yeah,
I 1,000% agree with that. And
yeah.
Maddie was overtaken. We're like, Dad, like, you guys were battling on the table, but then you were cheering for each other when somebody else was on the table. That's the camaraderie of the sport.
Maddie, is that part of it? What pulls you in?
Yeah, a huge part of it. And like everyone that like my dad knew, like growing up or like anything, like they're fans of mine now. And like, that's amazing, is like, they even care about me because like of him. And like, he hasn't seen Travis Bajan in like 20 years or like when he was 17. And Travis like loves me now. So like, he like comes up to Maddie, like, I want to take a picture with you. So it's like, it's really cool how like the community comes together and like everyone supports each other.
So where do you see yourself, Maddie, taking this? Do you think you see yourself being as big as Michelle or Lisa Wolfley or Nancy, or dare I say Gabby V?
That's the ultimate goal, I think. I'm going to give myself, I graduate in 2 more years. I think about 2 years full-time training and not playing softball. I would like to be at that level. Yes.
Okay.
Sarah Blackman.
Oh yeah. Sarah apparently doesn't check her Instagram or Facebook messages, because I must have. If you're listening to this, Sarah, check them, because I messaged you about 14 times. Yeah, and John Brezink too. Speaking of which, all right, so let's get into a little bit of opinions. All right, so we'll go to Maddie. So recently found out that Gabby V and Sarah Bachman are going to be doing a super match against each other again. When? February, March? I forget. I don't know. But relatively soon. What do you think?
I don't know. I watched both their training videos. I think Gabby might have it. She's a beast, and I don't see her losing this one.
I know she's like a phenom. Like, she's pretty much, as far from what I know and the info I gather and interviewing her and speaking to people, she's pretty much the greatest woman in arm wrestling that ever lived. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, I've never had the pleasure to meet her or see her in person yet.
Right.
But I've been watching her since I was little, and yeah.
Yeah.
She's the John Brezink of women's arm wrestling, I believe. And
she's beat some big names. She just beat Marlon Kleinsmith at the Worlds when it was last month, which is, I mean, that's no joke. And she has something like 30 something world titles or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said to her, do you just, when you get home and win another one, you just take it off and throw it in the pile with the rest? Like, how does,
you don't care about it. Oh, it's just another one.
Yeah. Like Steve, I'm sure that one that you have from this past September, you probably have it kind of like how I have my little stupid thing showing off, right?
Actually, since I retired from the prison system, the last 4 years I've been working in a local high school. And when I decided to go back to this, I have a real soft spot for the special needs kids in our school. So I donate all the trophies.
Really?
The special needs kids program. The world titles and the national ones I keep. Anything demonic looking, like, skull heads and stuff like that. But anything that's somewhat nice, we take the plates off and I give it to the people in charge of it, and they give it to the kids however they see fit.
Well, that is tremendous. That's testament to your character, man. That is fantastic.
It's not about
yeah, I mean, listen, I really wish I would have found arm wrestling when I was younger. I always went into bodybuilding, and I really wish, because it would have, I love bodybuilding. It is my number one favorite sport, if you will. But I get a bad taste in my mouth once you get kind of heavily involved, But with arm wrestling, it's like these people like yourself and Mike and James and Michelle, they're just tremendous human beings. I gotta stop kissing your ass. I'm done doing that.
It's true. That's what's attractive to me about the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, it gives you something to train for. When you're on the table for 30 seconds, you do what you got to do, and you watch some of my videos. I scream and yell and laugh.
Absolutely.
But like I said, I talk to the competitors on the side. We shake hands, hug it out, and we talk on the phone. We're friends. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah. Now, all right. So, what about you, Steve? You think Gabby's winning, or do you think Sarah is gonna basically look for revenge?
I've never met Gabby in person. I'm Facebook friends with her. I watch her training videos.
Right.
My opinion, she's winning.
Yeah.
Nothing against Sarah.
No, not either. I think, but Gabby is just, I don't know if Sarah's been, I don't follow her much. Gabby has been on my show twice, so I follow her a lot more. She doesn't seem to, I'm sorry?
I'm definitely a fan of hers. I love watching her training videos and stuff. She's phenomenal.
And she doesn't seem to stop. Do you know what I mean? Like, she seems to just, there's never a break. She's always training. She's always entering a tournament. She's always going, which obviously is going to make you, better and better. And the amount of confidence. And she's got to know all the tricks by now, too. I mean, right? I mean, she has to. It's got,
I tell people, if you see some of my newspaper articles when I was younger, I tell people arm wrestling, just my opinion, is 60-40. There's 60% strength. I mean, you got to be strong enough to do it. 40% is technique. You know what I mean? And I think she's got the whole package.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
All right. So let's talk Devin and Levon. What do you guys think about that one? Go ahead, Maddie.
I think Devin has it.
Really? Okay. Any particular reason why?
You go.
I think Devin's going to win.
Really?
I think Devin is going to stop him. I think he's going to maybe use the King's move, that first move, just to get him in deep water, and he's going to bleed him right out. I mean, Levon might win 1 or 2, but I think Devin's going to be, 4 out of the 6 he's winning.
So, do you think is Levon as good technically as Devin, or is he just this strong human being?
I think maybe he's stronger, but I watch both of them on YouTube and the videos and all that. But the matches I did see Devin or Levon lose, he got top rolled, and Devin's probably one of the longest frame guys that he's going to face, and he's got 6 months to train.
Yeah,
he's going to come in about 300 pounds and be a beast.
Yeah,
and,
that's exactly.
I watch Levin's videos too, working out with them guys and all that stuff, but they don't have the lever that that Devin's got. Just my opinion, and I think Devin's going to beat him.
You think if Devin beats him, you think he kind of takes over that John Brzenk spot as the GOAT? Because it seems like he's kind of running through everybody.
I don't know. John did it a long time, a lot of years, a lot of countries, a lot of different people. I mean, he's definitely up there, but
they're just two different pullers too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody can beat the GOAT. I mean, John Brzenk. He's had so many years of doing it, but I think Devin's going to beat Levon.
When John was in his prime and he was running through everybody, was there better competition then, or is there now when Devin and Monster Michael Todd and Levon?
Back in the early 90s, when I was always like 242 supers, and I ran into John at different tournaments, different nationals. It was like 198, 220. There was a lot of good guys back then. I mean, Ron Bath and him used to battle. I watched them battle several times. I don't know all the lightweight guys' names, but I'm going to say it's pretty even. I mean, there was a lot of good guys back then. There's a lot of good guys now. I mean, the 220s now, you got Brandon, you got my boy Paul Lynn, you got some phenomenal guys at that weight now too, but they were good then too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And one that was I just learned about was Michael Todd and Gennady. What do you guys think about that one?
I don't know much about Gennady. I mean, I watch, friends of Michael, I see all his stuff, but Michael's another one. He trains like an animal, like a beast. Yeah. I don't know Gennady, but just training purposes and mindset, I say Michael's winning.
Okay. What about you, Maddie?
Same. I see Michael training all the time. I don't really know a lot of that.
Were you guys surprised when Devin won so easily against Michael Todd?
I think we worked out that night, and we were not surprised.
Really?
No, like I said, Devin's got something that you can't train. He's got that long arm. He's got that long hand, and he got strong. He got bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I was surprised how he did John Brzenk, actually. You know what I mean? But especially after what John did to Paul Lynn, my boy Paul, like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was, it was just Devin. That's why I said Devin's gonna beat Levon. That's just. Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I tend to agree with you. But you just look at Levon and you're like, he looks like a Neanderthal. He looks like he doesn't look. I said this joke when I interviewed Matt Mask. I said he looks like he's only second generation in his family to stand up straight. I mean, he has this huge head and and his hands must be, enormous, and that alone
I'm not saying he's not going to win a match or two, but I think Devin's going to bleed him out. I think Devin's going to.
What other ones am I missing? Those were the three big ones that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Am I missing anything else, or any other good ones coming up soon?
They're the biggest ones I know coming up.
Who else is doing the King of Table? Was it the King of Table 3?
I'm looking forward to Travis coming back.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who was he going against?
Brandon.
Who?
Brandon.
Oh, okay. So what do you guys think about that one? Totally forgot about that one. Good call.
I think Travis.
Travis is winning hands down. And I told Brandon, when Brandon put that comment on Facebook about him coming off the couch, I said, I know Travis for over 20 years. Even a Travis coming off the couch is a very dangerous person. Make no mistake about that.
Especially left-handed.
Especially left-handed. He's phenomenal left-handed.
Like, his left's insane.
This is a good question for you, Steve. I had asked a couple of the guys I had on earlier. I never really get into it because you brought up Travis. Do you ever get into a situation where somebody kind of crossed the line when it came to trash talking? and you just basically had enough? Because there's a lot of trash talking, it seems like.
I mean, I was years ago, and I still am a Travis fan. I mean,
no, I mean you personally, with like before a match or during a match.
That don't bother me. I worked in a prison for 25 years.
That's
I cannot be offended. I cannot be. There's nothing you can say to offend me or trash talk. As long as you don't touch me. If you touch me, that's another problem.
Right.
You can talk all you want. Talk is nothing. Going one ear out the other.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you get psyched up. But I mean, just not my forte. You know what I mean? I might yell a little bit at the table, yell a little bit afterwards. But like I said, then we'll shake hands and talk about it afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to handle that, especially since you're this close to me. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're arm wrestling someone, you're this far away.
That's Travis's game, and even Devin. I mean, I know Travis personally, but that's Devin's game too. And I mean, I don't think Levon will be able to understand what he's saying, but but if he learns the language, he gets in his head a little bit. I mean, that's part of the game with him.
But it looks like Devin tries to basically become a magician and distract the ref so he could kind of get in position that he wants. Is that accurate?
He takes full advantage of everything.
Yeah. All right, pretty good. All right, guys. Maddie, when do you go back to college?
January 18th.
Okay, and how much longer you got before you're done?
Like this year or altogether?
Altogether.
Well, I'm getting 2 master degrees, so
Jesus Christ.
2.5 more years left.
All right, just I do have. See those 2 degrees up there? I don't know if you could see it. The green one at the bottom. I do have. I know. I work in the sewer for a living, but
they're very hard to get. College is no joke. So.
I did waste a bunch of money on those 2 degrees, and they're completely paid for now, right? But now I work in the sewer with a bunch of rats and human feces. Anyway, Steve, I need you to do something for me. I need you to do in the Steve Walker famous voice. I need you to tell everybody to like, subscribe, and share to Serious and Silliness.
You better like and subscribe to this channel. Explode on it now. That good?
Thank you very much. That was perfect. All right, guys. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.